Hello, and welcome to Geeking Out, everyone. Today is our Halloween episode, Slasher Satisfaction. Uh, if I seem a little different than normal, I'm in my wonderful Halloween costume.
I love it.
Yes. I'm not gonna wear this the whole time because it's hard to breathe, so I'm gonna lift it up. I'm gonna lift it. Hey, everybody! I decided to come as Chewbacca today.
Look at you.
You know, just trying something different, trying something new. What are you dressed as, Chris?
Oh, hi. I'm a band geek. Hi. I have my
geek?
sweater. It's got my name on it. I don't know if you can see that.
I thought you were like a Hogwarts student.
No, I'm in the band, and I'm wearing my glasses and my bow tie. Obviously.
Okay. What are you, Rukia?
I am Gecko from PJ Masks for all those kids at heart out there.
Gecko? Why don't I recognize that?
I don't. Do you watch PJ Masks?
I have no clue what anything you're saying. You sounds like you're talking.
Is that the ones where they're different? Like,
it's a kids show.
It's a kid.
And like one's a ladybug, maybe.
No, it's a Disney Junior show. So it's Gecko, Catboy, and Owlette. And so like there's two boys and a girl. Yeah, it's a Disney Junior like morning.
Owlette is maybe like red or pink.
Yeah, she's red.
She's got like wings on her cape.
Yep, exactly it.
Okay.
For those that watch the little one. Mm-hmm. So if you know, you know.
And what are you, Julian?
I am a scarecrow. Actually, no, I'm a black mage.
A black mage.
I find a fantasy black mage. Yeah, they have the steeple hat. The only thing I'm missing is like the black face, but I thought mine was brown enough. So
did you just say black face?
Well, I think maybe like we should
black
skip that.
And their eyes glow. So I was just like, I'll just go with the one I have. So I mean, they go sometimes when you catch me on the wrong day.
Right. Okay. So tonight, our topic for tonight is slasher satisfaction. We're going to be doing a countdown of my favorite slasher films, and then the other panelists have prepared battle options to my list, and you all at home get to decide whether my list stays or one of their picks takes over for my pick. So we need y'all in the comments to be active. I know y'all be watching. I can see the numbers there, and I need y'all to respond. At least one of y'all got to be responsive today, so we know who wins. Otherwise, it's gonna be all my choices because it's my turn to host, and I'm picking it. Okay, so first things first. We usually start out with a section called "What Are You Geeking Out About?" But before we do that, let's just take a quick commercial break.
How long have you all been married? How long have we been married?
When this video posts, what
can wash away?
Anyway, pretty much 7 years, pretty much.
Nothing but the blood.
Here she goes again from the last video. Trying to get me to smell something.
Who can make? Sing, babe. Behold, I can. Nothing but the blood of Jesus.
Hey, Lord.
That was the Mompreneur plug. It's a YouTube channel from a friend of ours. Her name is Tamara Francis, and she just reached 1 million views.
I love her.
So, and what's crazy is like
I miss her.
Yeah, she's an amazing person. She's super hilarious. Her channel has like funny stuff. We got comedy sketches, but it's also got like home hacks for moms, hair, how to be a good wife, husband, all that stuff. So check that out, Mompreneur plug. All right. So before we actually start, I lied. I said we were going to go right into. Does anyone have a rant?
Oh.
Does anyone? Okay. So we're going to start this new segment called Ricky's Rant, and that's where someone in the group. I don't think we are going to do it today. I don't know if we have anybody who wants to rant.
I got a short rant.
You got a short rant? Okay. So tonight we're just gonna do a precursor to what it's gonna be normally, but we're just gonna let her get. I'm gonna give you a minute and a half, 90 seconds. So the way this rant will work is she gets 90 seconds to say whatever she wants. It'll be longer in the future. And if she wants to share her time with someone else, they can chime in too. But we're not allowed to respond until she's done. So, Dureyea, I'm going to get my phone so I can get a little thing out to get a timer. Dureyea has a minute and a half to talk about whatever she wants to talk about. Minute and 30 seconds. And you ready? Go.
All right. Number one, quick rant. Make sure you are voting because voting is happening right now, not as in like November 3rd. November 3rd when voting ends. You've had all this time to vote. You should be voting by now. That's number one. Number two, so on Twitter, Megan Thee Stallion had posted something about like Halloween in Atlanta. Girl, Meg, I love you. But not in the pandemic. No. We're not doing no type of partying. No. Not for the hotties in Halloween because I know that's just a bunch of people with no mask on, all crowded, sweaty and nasty, trying to check up on somebody, knowing that someone's going to get sick. So no. No Halloweens. No, none of that in Atlanta this Halloween. You got to say that for next year. Girl.
30 seconds.
Just, honestly, just stay up and just stay home, get on Instagram Live, and put on a cute outfit and say, and we'll all be okay. We'll appreciate it just the same, okay? All right, that's my rant, y'all.
You still got 20 seconds. You done? You got 20 seconds. 15.
No, that's it. Vote.
All right. So now we can respond. Does anyone have a response to that? Anybody in the comments have a response to that? I have a response.
I have one.
Don't you ever in your life come for Megan Thee Stallion in my presence.
I don't care. I love
in your life. Don't you ever in your life feel bold enough to come for Megan Thee Stallion while I'm sitting right in front of you ever again? Because I want all smoke, for one. For two, low key though, you're right.
Thank you.
Low key though. It's low key.
Low key.
Really low key. Really low key because I'm trying to like plan some weekend things. And I'm trying to okay, but I am incorporating a mask into every single costume that I'm wearing out. So it's like
let's be honest. This next weekend is the weekend where all the Democrats who've been yelling at all the Republicans for not wearing masks about to be hypocritical. Hypocrite? What word am I trying to find?
No, but I'm still wearing my mask.
Hypocritical because
I'm working the mask into the look.
Does this count as a mask?
You have to put a regular mask underneath it, though.
You
gotta put a mask.
I would put one underneast.
Pay the rent. Pay the rent.
So
I feel like this is acceptable.
That one by itself is generally pretty acceptable. Like, I think there's enough hair fibers and stuff. You're gonna catch it. You know what I mean? There's enough barrier. There's enough of a barrier that like you're not gonna catch the germ. It's not gonna make any direct contact. So you'll be all right.
Okay.
But like somebody with a mask, totally for it. Or if it doesn't have a mask, find a way to put it on there.
Everybody, my uncle just said, "Hey, uncle, I love you."
Hello, uncle. How you doing?
I love you. Okay, so let's get started on what are you geeking out about. This is the section of the show where each panelist goes around and we're going to talk about what we're geeking out about. I have a few things actually, but I'm going to let the other panelists go first. I'm going to start with Julian. What are you geeking out about, bud?
Okay, so definitely Halloween. I have been really, really hard at work making Halloween magic like happen. I decided like really last minute what like my Halloween plans were going to be because usually my Halloween is like a big thing. But with COVID and everything, I'm like, oh, what's going to be open? What are we going to do? There's no place to go and things. So there's a few places that have been opening up lately, and I'm not really sure how they're enforcing things, but I know that they have like mask requirements at least. So I was like, all right, that's fine. So I'm hoping to win some costume contests and things, but I've been putting some costumes together in like a week's time, in like 4 days. It's like hard work. It's been pretty.
You say
nice,
costumes plural.
Costumes because I'm doing multiple costumes. Okay, so one is a crazy clown, right? Oh god, that one is so good. I made a straight jacket from scratch, and all these things. It's so nice. And then what else am I doing? Oh, I have a demon look that's nice that I've kind of done it in past years, but every year I kind of do a little bit different. Every time I do it, rather, I do a little bit different. So this year I'm also doing this one a little bit different. I made like this whole piece. It was really nice. Like these sleeves, and I'm making this cloak for it. It's cool. And then what else? So I've got. Oh, so you saw me in Prince Jasmine the other day, the last time. But I've revamped that one. So I've added some pieces to that as well. So that one's like a whole new costume actually. in its own right. And then last time I've put together a whole new one out of scratch, out of nowhere. I'm doing a unicorn. That one is, I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's a unicorn, but it'll debut when it debuts, which is gonna be probably.
You're gonna put these pictures up?
Right.
There will definitely be pictures.
You should put them. Are you gonna put them on the group?
Yes, I'm gonna put them on the Instagram as well. The only thing I don't have are pictures of the process. Usually I try to do them of the process, but I've been doing it so quick that I haven't like had time to like, and you know, it's like on a time constraint kind of a thing. So I'm like, because I'm doing it so short notice, I'm like, oh, I don't have time to like take pictures of the process, but definitely the ones afterwards. So you'll definitely see me like in full costume. It's gonna be nice. I'm excited. Awesome. Yeah, so that's when I'm geeking out. Just the Halloween spirit. I'm in it to win it.
So that's all you're geeking out about is Halloween?
Yeah, these past few weeks, since like the week before, like I've been trying to, that's really it, you know. Okay, I've been heavy into the costuming world, so like the cosplay and stuff. I love that shit. Like I spent like hours in Joanne's like fabrics and things. I love all those things. So like that's still a geeky part of me. Like I like creating and stuff and putting things together. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, Chris, what are you geeking out about?
Okay, so I'm a little bit geeked out about my new iPhone 12. It's blue. Oh, it matches my sweater. I don't know if you can tell. I haven't updated.
Are you being paid for this?
No, not at all. Not at all.
I don't think we can actually. I don't think we can show logos or anything on here. So don't do that.
Oh, Apple won't come for him. It's all right.
Okay, I hope not, because I don't got no Apple money.
Look, you'd be like, hey, that was some free
Apple cash.
Well, I'm excited about it. I'm sorry. I love new technology sometimes, and this is the first time that I've been like such a geek that I like got up the morning of pre-orders, like beforehand. It was like ready to, like I had the pre-order ready on my like. Okay, go like as soon as 8 o'clock comes. Girl, I'm not even gonna say it because I don't want any copyright infringement, but I have the same company's credit card. So anyway, you can do some. Anyway, I'm not gonna say any more about that. I just love my new phone. Period. And then the other thing that I'm geeking out about, I really am sorry. I hope we don't get sued. Jesus, I can't pay our lawsuit. I promise.
Wait. Just don't. Text what you about to say in the private chat so I can make sure we don't get sued.
No. The next topic is not what we're gonna get sued about. I'm just saying how we don't get sued about.
Okay. Got you.
No, the next thing that we get out about is just I actually got cast in a like Zoom production of a play that we're rehearsing and we're putting together some like Sorted Lives.
Is that a stage play normally?
Well, it was originally.
Isn't that a sexy
You don't
play?
have any.
I have no idea what Sorted Lives is.
Isn't it racy?
Oh, okay. So maybe I don't know. Maybe you were already like gone by the time we got
obsessed
with it
school?
in college. No. So senior year of college. Yeah. So you would have been gone. Sorry. All right. So senior year of college. Netflix released this original series, Sorted Lives series. It wasn't a Netflix original series really, but they called it that at the time because they took it off like very shortly after. But it was basically a prequel series to Sorted Lives the play, which none of us had ever even heard of. But Del Shores, who's a playwright, wrote this play, Sorted Lives, and it's hysterical. It's about Texas like trash and like a drag queen named Brother Boy and some like old sisters and mother, and I mean it is hysterically funny. I mean, it's white trash at its finest. And so we all like, me and Justin and Tate and all, we like ate this series.
Which
like
Justin?
Ate, like
Stevens.
Justin Stevens.
Sorry.
What? Anyways, we ate
Stevens,
this series, just like ate. So then we discovered the like actual play. We were like, oh my gosh! And I think a couple of them did it as directing scenes. So I got offered the chance to like do this like Zoom play of it. I was like, oh my god, because I'm obsessed. Like I've just been obsessed for years. I'm playing the straightest character in the show.
Ow.
Strange.
I was gonna say, who are you gonna be?
Play?
I'm a good actor, Dureyea. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
being funny. I'm just being funny.
That is called acting right there.
I mean, I have a bachelor of fine arts in theater.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? This is actor to actor, Chris. When they make you when you play a straight character, do you deepen your voice intentionally?
Yeah.
Me too.
I would too.
I mean, why not? Of course, it only helps.
But you know what's
I talk
crazy?
up here most
What's
of the
crazy though, Chris? What's crazy? Let me tell you what's crazy. Straight dudes' voices don't even really be that deep.
Yeah, they're not. There's plenty of straight dudes with like voices that are
I
like
was
just
listening
as
to
high.
somebody the other day. Dude was, I don't know where I was. We was ordering something. He was with his girl, and the way he was talking, I was like,
Wait a minute. Who are you here with? Are you
right.
serious?
So I don't even know, but I do that as soon as they catch me. Somebody like,
No, there are. I've come across people.
you got to get it warmed up. Down here, yeah.
Bass in your voice.
Put bass in your voice.
Look, I can let you guys be the judge. As soon as I figure out how we're going to be streaming it, it's going to be 3 streams of like, I think we're going to film it and then they're going to stream it 3 times. So I'll let you know like where you can check it out.
Okay.
And then you can give me your critiques and comments later. Thank you.
But that's dope.
Congratulations.
That's a great idea. Congratulations. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
Exciting.
I'm super excited about it. Like, it's great to be like involved in some sort of theatrical outlet for me.
I agree. So tell me, Ricky, what are you geeking out about?
Okay, so I finally, even though like they've just finished the season finale, I'm finally started Lovecraft Country. It's really good. I know there's been like people talking about other parts that are like super scary. Right now, I think the episode I'm on right now is like episode 8, and like this is the first time I'm getting like super scared. So which for me, like I'm scaredy cat McGee, so that says something. But I'm really enjoying it, and there's that. I think I've already mentioned like Utopia. So if you haven't watched Utopia on Amazon Prime, y'all, someone watch it with me or catch up on it because I really enjoyed that show. That's on Amazon Prime, as well as watching The Boys. If you haven't watched that yet, you can watch The Boys on Amazon Prime. And then let's see. There's one more. Oh, Monsterland on Hulu, which is like an anthology with a mixture of like fantasy and fairy tale. So like you would think that that the episodes weren't connected, but they are. But they're so unique. Each one is so unique. So like one episode has my fave right now, Nikki Bahari.
Oh.
Yes, in an episode.
Love the show.
Yes, and so like it's called Monsterland. It's on Hulu.
I love her, man. That's white for real.
So like what episode was she did? It's like episode 3, and it's like based in New Orleans, and like this it's trigger warning. Like it's dealing with sexual assault. So like representing that in the form of a monster. Like an actual monster with like vampire teeth and stuff like that. It's really good. So check out Monsterland if you haven't checked that out yet. And tell me and talk to me because I like to talk about these things with folks. Oh, and then last thing, I finally watched Scream for the first time. We can talk about that later, but I watched Scream for the first time. Like I said.
So we'll go into deep. We'll dig into that later.
Yes.
Actually, there's one more thing I do want to talk about with Chris really fast. So I did finish Schitt's Creek, by the way. I gotta start crying already.
Did you literally like? I
It's
have
so good.
ain't got no tears left to cry.
I ain't no tears left
I
to
ain't got
cry.
no
That
tears.
shit was really good. I'm sorry. They deserved everything that they got. I don't know how many Emmys
Every
what
single
the fuck they won
Emmy.
this past award show, but they deserved every single one of them because just the character development and
All of
stuff. By the
All
end
of
of it, oh God, so great. You really like, oh man. It's funny because my favorite parts are like all the parts where they're just a family together. I'm like, oh, every part of this is so endearing. Dude, they're such fucking crazies, but I love it. Oh man, it's so good. It was so good, but I finished it and it was it was sad. It was awesome at the same time. So
I'm pretty much ready to start it all over from the beginning.
I've done that actually. I'm currently on like season 4, I think. I'm back on like season 4, but I'm through it because I was like, I gotta go back to the beginning. I need to fill the void. So it was good.
Okay, so what I'm geeking out about is, let me get my list. So first and foremost, I'm geeking out because Geeking Out, the podcast, which is what you're tuning into or listening to, reached 100 streams or spins on the audio version. So if you're listening versus hearing, we've reached 100 spins and we're climbing. And so I'll give you updates, but that was a really big deal, a milestone. So whoop whoop to everybody, all of our day ones out there. So I just want to give a congratulations to the co-hosts and to all the viewers. All right, so let's talk. I want to talk about, I'm just going to give you this other one. So the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, is starting their 4th season. I haven't seen any of it, except I saw the very first episode and I stopped watching it because I was in jail. And then, I mean, they don't have Netflix in jail. But
we need to write a letter.
Right. But and then I found out that this is going to be its last season, and I'm thinking that they planned it that way, right?
Probably.
Like they planned it to only be 4 seasons but Netflix is doing that a lot lately. They're canceling shows that have like before their last season. So I'm not sure if that's like a thing that they're like, they know that these shows are bookended or what, or if it's like, I don't know what the reason. Okay. Anyone have to comment on that? Because otherwise I'm going to talk about this other thing.
So like I haven't finished season 3. Like I really like the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So like I grew up watching the Melissa Joan Hart version, which is definitely
obviously
complete opposite of this one. More lighthearted, funny, Friday night with your family type. Whereas this one is definitely one of those you might have to keep listening for that. But I'm excited. Like I'm sad that it'll be the last season. Like I hate when they do that. Like they just canceled another show called Glow, and like they were set to like do another season. So Glow's the one with the female wrestlers. So like that, I don't know what Netflix is doing, but like I'm not a big fan of that.
But I think it's a lot of has to do with like our culture and things. We're so fast paced and everything. Everything has to be so bite sized and stuff. And like they're doing so many new productions, so it's like they just have to make room for new things. And it's like to have their hand in 1,000 different productions. Yeah, they can do a lot of those things, but not all of them. So they pull back here and there because they just have like certain standards that they probably go by. Like certain shows have to have a certain amount of viewers by the end of the quarter, and if they don't make the cut, then they're not making the cut. You know what I mean? Then they're going to make room for new productions that are on the list and things. So it's like
I guess that's my question is like immediate. I guess my question immediately is what? There we go. My question is immediately like, okay, but what is it? Are they canceling these shows because they're not doing well? And the ratings, or is it that, like I said, like it's planned? Because sometimes it's like Game of Thrones was planned. There's a lot of shows that they're just planned to be a certain length. So I would just personally like to know. I'm sure it's half and half. Like half of
most of them. Well, that's the other thing, because like I remember before we talk about this briefly, but I had come across where they talk about like their business model, Netflix's business model, where like the first 2 seasons they sign on the shows for the first 2 seasons, and that's where they really do the push. And then after that, they don't necessarily cancel them, but they don't necessarily sign them on for the next season afterwards. You kind of have to prove your worth at that point, you know.
Right.
So they in the first 2 seasons is when they're going to get the most subscriptions off of a new show. Off of something, you know what I mean? Like people are going to subscribe to Netflix. You know, they're going to get new subscriptions to Netflix.
Do you really think that people are subscribing to Netflix for Netflix? I'm sorry. Let me phrase the question right. Do you think that one TV show is the reason? I don't see that.
I don't have Amazon Prime, but I will have Amazon Prime.
I think the people who
comes out.
I think the people that are who are buying subscriptions, I think they're buying subscriptions to have Netflix, like the whole thing. I don't think it's for one show. I mean, unless it's because I can't see somebody getting a subscription for one show unless it's like some I am black, which I am. Black is King.
Mm-hmm.
I can see somebody like, okay, I want to see that. I'll get a subscription for a month.
But I think everyone has a show.
Say what?
Everyone has like that one show or that collection of shows that like will bring them there.
So what's is there a show who doesn't have Netflix out of the four of us? Okay, everybody got who doesn't have Hulu?
I don't have Hulu.
Is there a show that comes on Hulu that you would buy a subscription to Hulu just to watch that show?
Not currently.
I'm just saying. I feel like I can't think of anybody who's bought a whole subscription for one show other than Black is King. To be honest,
I mean, I will do it for Wheel of Time.
Go ahead, Chris.
My complaint with the whole thing is like Roberto Aguirre Sacasa, who is the creator of Sabrina. That's what we were talking about originally, Sabrina. He also he's a great playwright. I like worship his stuff, like his plays. Did like several of his scenes in like directing class and like read several of his plays. He's a great playwright. And he's like since been involved in shows like Glee and I think maybe Scream Queens too. And like, you know, like he's been involved with Ryan Murphy a lot. And then he started Riverdale, which I don't know if any of you have like watched Riverdale.
I'm interested, but I'm yeah, like
it's the less
interested,
good
but
version.
I'm like,
it's very not as good as Sabrina was more succinct, and Sabrina seems more focused and more like focused on the story and not like these like, you know, Archie characters that you had to like bring in, but like also try to make them modern, also try to make them old school, and also like it was the Riverdale is the Archie comics like modern, and it's like all over the place.
That's what it seems like
everywhere.
It seems like a lot. It seems like a lot.
It's a lot. And Sabrina was much more categorized. Sabrina was much more succinct. I felt like it was better written and it's better acted, in my opinion. Okay. And like then they're gonna go and cancel it because like, you know, it's a Netflix original and it's not on like whatever the CW or whatever.
That's the difference between. That's what I'm saying. A show like a network. I guess they are a network at this point. Let me say a studio. A studio like Netflix does that. They're not worried about renewal of a show, right? Because like ABC, these network television shows, they're thinking about renewal and syndication. Netflix is thinking about that because Netflix can replay this episode. They can indicate their own shit. And so to me, it's like that's why I think it has more to do. I actually like the fact that they're canceling these shows if it's for that reason. If it's for because I'd much rather a nice, thought out, well put together. Shout out to Augusta, Georgia. I got family down there. Love y'all. Always watching, always supportive. But I'd much rather a nice, succinct, not even succinct, that's not the word, but a nice, well thought out, well planned story than something that goes on forever. Like to me, I'm gonna use Supernatural as an example. I would watch Supernatural. I would watch every episode of that because I love that show. However, if it had ended where it was supposed to end, it still would have been epic to me. It was supposed to end at the end of the season where who was it that went to hell? Was it Dean?
See, I never got into Supernatural.
Wait, who went to hell? Wait, sorry, spoiler alert.
Somebody be going to hell.
Right. So
Yeah, somebody goes to hell.
with one of the two at the end, like the whole story, like, and you can really tell that the story was supposed to end there because all of the little seeds that were like that bore fruit. Is it bore? Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bore fruit in that season. It's like, oh, I saw that in the first season, the first episode. It was all there. After that, they definitely had a lot of cool lore, but it was less like direct. Like they knew where they were going. After that, they just had a lot of fun. I'd much rather that than a show that goes on for freaking ever. I kind of wish this is actually my one criticism about Buffy. I don't think they planned from the beginning to have Buffy end the way that it ended.
Oh no, I don't think that at all.
I think they did well, regardless.
Yeah,
but I don't
improvise.
I don't think that was planned. Anyway, okay, so are we done with that one? Because I have one more geeking out before we move.
Okay.
To our next topic.
Oh my
All right, now, this is what I'm really geeking out about, and it's not that I'm geeking about it. I'm kind of pissed. So I might have talked about this before. Shannon Doherty, Holly Marie Combs, Alyssa Milano, and Sarah Jeffries and Rose McGowan in a Twitter beef. This is why I want to talk about this. So it started off where Rose McGowan and did I talk about this on the show?
Maybe briefly because
okay,
because it happened around the same time.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it some more. So Rose McGowan got online with Holly Marie Combs. They were just vibing in Mexico, and they were talking about why. So one of the fans on the tweet was like, "Oh, I hate that they took Charmed off of Netflix." And Holly Marie was like, "Well, it's probably because when you search Charmed, they want you to find the new one and not the old one." I don't think that's why they took it off. I think they took it off because Peacock owns the rights to Charmed, and now it's on Peacock. So they did the same thing with Law and Order SVU. Anyway, so basically, then Rose McGowan goes, "But it sucks," and then she says, "I can't say that. I haven't seen it, but it sucks." Now, anybody who's, and I'm repeating myself, but anybody who knows anything about this storyline knows that they have had a problem with this show for a long time. So the issue I'm having is online. Basically, Sarah Jeffries got online and said it was a racial thing. And they're like, no, it's not a racial thing. But there's this split that's happening in the nerd community where, and these are people of color nerds, where like a lot of us are like, nah, it wasn't a racial thing. And the other ones are like, it absolutely was a racial thing. And I don't feel like it was. So now that we're in a, like, look at Chris up. He said, I'm not he said, I'm not touching this one. He said, I'm not okay, but now that we have a group of POCs in here. Okay, so I kind of want to have the conversation. Like, I talked to a really good friend of mine, and I really trust her opinion. So when she says, she's like, you know, a lot of times people make microaggressions when they're not even meaning to, and it's so subliminal because it's so like steeped in our system that even though they might not have meant to be, that's absolutely what it was. So I just kind of want to have the conversation in a group of people. And if you're in the comments, please let me know what you think too, if you know anything about the situation. I'm gonna go to Rakia first, as a woman of color.
Okay, so so here's my thing. Like, I've seen the first like season and a half of the new Charm. I like it. I think it's a nice spin on it. Now, when it initially was announced that they were going to reboot Charm, because that was around the same time that they were rebooting Charm, and they were rebooting everything. Yes, but they were specifically on the CW rebooting Charmed and rebooting Roswell.
Right.
And it included, like, Roswell had like some problematic writers from TVD that I was not a big fan of. So like there's that, because like I was a huge big fan of Roswell back then. But so like I was hesitant to get into the new Charmed because, you know, sometimes when you start rebooting these shows and you add people of color in it, it kind of feels like lip service. Like, what
really does it?
Sometimes it does. You have to, like, you can't necessarily like be 100% gung ho the first time around, because either it's a genuine and they have people like on the set in the writers' room to really give like a genuine, authentic effort, or it's just some your regular like good old boy writer's room that were just like, oh well, diversity is the new thing. We need to come up with something, so let's just right. So like,
I do agree with you. Just a quick interjection. I do agree with you that it is important for not only the faces of it to be Black, but the people creating the story need to be, whether it's Black or whatever, need to be diverse as well. I do agree with that.
Right. So like, I watched it on a whim. Like I enjoy it. So like mostly it's like it's more like Black and Latina, like Afro Latinas in there. So I enjoy it. So I know like when they're first announced the reboot, and I can't necessarily say it's a reboot because yes, it's the same concept of the Power of Three, but there's some different elements. It's not a complete copy of the original Charmed. They've taken some creative license and done some of their own things to it, and so I've enjoyed that. So, but I know like the original cast was not most of them were not really like accepting of this, particularly Holly Marie Combs.
They weren't, because they wanted to be in the reboot, like because this was also around the time that Roseanne got rebooted, Full House got rebooted. So when they heard Charmed was coming back, because let's be clear, Charmed was not a well-written show. It was not a well-written show. We watched Charmed because we liked those three women.
Right.
Period. Like the cast is, and they knew that. They like the show was popular because of the three of us and our chemistry. Like I could watch Alyssa Milano in skimpy clothes and cute makeup and wig. Rose gonna come through doing some clumsy shit, and Holly Marie gonna be a badass. And I know what I'm getting into. You know what I'm saying? But
right. And especially like towards the end of the series, like the three actresses that were remaining at the time had a lot of like pull and leeway onto the show. Like they had some executive producing credits and some writing
season 8 was their best season.
Right. So like if you're gonna reboot it, like you're not gonna have the original cast and they're not gonna get the original credit that they had towards the end of the show. Like I would be kind of, upset too. But I think it's a mixed bag on whether or not the issues are racial. This particular issue, I think it's a little bit of pettiness.
On whose end?
On the original cast members' end, in some ways. That's hard. Like I don't necessarily see it as racial.
Right.
It just happens to be that because it's a reboot and because the cast is majority like Black and Latina. Hold on, son. Oh no, my kids.
It's okay.
Like Latina, like you're already on edge, okay? And like for me, like I'm already like first thing is like to root for or at least like back those actresses up. But I think it's more pettiness on the original cast end because they didn't want this to be happening. They didn't want this.
Right.
Without them being a part of it. So like you're gonna get some shade from them.
Anyway.
You're gonna get some shade from them. That's my thoughts.
What do you think, Julian?
Wow.
Him in the corner. That guy.
I blame Chris. I blame Chris.
No worries.
Go ahead.
Wait. No. So, I agree. I actually agree with Ricky on this one because like it's they're more mad about not being in it versus like who's actually in it, and like the job that they're doing and the story that they're telling for them and like that. And she made a good point is that it's not like it's a reboot, but it's not exactly a reboot. It's not a redo of the original storyline. It's like it's their own storyline using the same mechanics, the same world that the original Charm had created, and that's the point here. And that's why it kind of set itself apart and stuff. And that is good. And I agree though with the original cast members only in that, like, I would love to have been part of it. You know what I mean? Like there's no reason why we shouldn't have been, whatever was the reasoning behind that is its own thing, but I can understand their outrage, but I don't think that it was really racially driven. And anyone who thinks so, I'm like, you guys are kind of like, where your heads are at, but I mean the time that we're in, I can understand where they're coming from, I guess.
Right.
Even if it's feels exaggerated.
Right. I mean, me personally, I think looking at it all, the reason I feel is because I don't feel like, well, for one, the comment that Sarah Jeffries made, I feel like was what tipped the scales. Because to me, when the OG actresses said it, they clearly said that they're happy that people have jobs. They said, we're happy people have jobs, but it sucks, you know? Mm-hmm. I do think that was petty for them to say it all, but when Sarah Jeffries came back, she called them pathetic.
Yeah, that's
and to me, I was like, it wasn't even so much that I was like, oh, you just threw gas all over that fire, because now you're calling people names. Mm-hmm. So to me, but the thing I love the most about this whole situation was the response that came from the other two actresses in the new series. And guess what that response was? They didn't say shit. They said, I have a job. You don't. Have a good day. Because at the end of the I love the OGs, but at the end of the day, like, they're still working on the show. I mean, there's no point for you to go back and forth. Right. I mean, there's no point. I feel like they were being petty. I feel like she was kind of being immature. But in my opinion, if she felt it was truly, if in her heart of hearts she felt like it was a racial attack, I think she should have did exactly what she did, if that's what she felt. But anyway, I just want to talk about that really quick. So,
can I add one more thing?
So I don't get to say nothing?
Well, you made a face like you wasn't gonna say nothing. I didn't know you was gonna say nothing. You definitely made a face.
I mean,
go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Leave me out of the conversation. I was making a face out of funniness because I was answering a text message and I wasn't trying to exclude myself. Okay, look. Okay, so here's my 2 cents, and I will keep it brief because as a non-person of color, I don't want to sound any type of way, but I didn't particularly like the reboot of Charmed. I didn't see the whole thing. I only saw like the first few episodes, but it just wasn't my flavor. I actually think that if it had been more racially centered, then it might have, I might have resonated with it more. Like if it was more about the brujas and more about the witch doctor, like if they had more of that family kind of vibe.
If you're gonna go there,
I might have connected more with it.
I agree.
Like if you're gonna recreate a world of witches, like this was obviously a white witches world. Like this was obviously like some 3 white witches with some white problems and stuff, and they may have brought some color into it, but I don't think they brought enough, and I just don't think that it was. I mean, if you're gonna go in, is what I'm saying, and that was why I didn't like it as much, but. That's just my opinion, and I am again glad that these girls are working, and glad that the show got to complete an entire season. Are they coming back for a second season?
They have a third season.
They're coming back.
Let me say something really quick about the show. The show, I actually really like the show. Actually, after what Chris said, I do agree with that part. I would have loved, because they kind of touch on it. There's one of the girls. There's 2 sisters that are half black and half Hispanic, which was a surprise because they thought only one of them was half black, but turned out the black daddy was the one who actually fathered 2. It was T. Okay, it was very interesting. But sorry, spoiler alert.
There it is.
But
you can find it on Netflix.
Right. The thing I liked about it was I liked they gave themselves such great writing and such great circumstances, but then they pissed it away. Like, spoiler alert, one of the main characters becomes the source in the first season. But she's only the source for like half an episode. And so I'm just like, I was like, y'all could have did a whole season about that. Like, anyway, so I feel like instead of trying to be anything, they should just live in these spaces that they keep creating. They keep having these really good storylines that they only let live for like 2 episodes. And also, I think they should stop trying to force I get acceptance, but we can tell when it's forced. Like, I don't want to say what I was about to say.
You're trying to make these characters too many different things.
No, it's just like, I don't know. It's just, I don't believe one of the characters acting at all, ever. Ever.
Is it the one sister?
Perhaps that's a failing of the actress. Then
no, because I saw what's crazy is I seen this actress in something else. I saw her in this first, and I was like, oh. And then I saw her in something else. I was like, well, you can act your ass off. So what the fuck is going on when you're acting in this? And that confuses the hell out of me. All right. So we have to move on.
Wait, can I say one more thing though?
My Chewbacca watch is broken. Clearly.
So also, I also think it could be just one of those like supporting women, like actresses supporting other actresses for their opportunities. So like maybe that's what Sarah Jefferson is also feeling too. Is that like you're like, yes, you might not have as much say as you did before, but like, you know, these new up and coming actresses are getting some shine right now. Like, why can't you be supportive?
Right.
Yeah. So that's my last thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. We have a comment really quick. Says, but why are they doing it again? Why not bring a new series? Why are they redoing all these shows? Like, I like it the way it was. I agree. Yeah. I feel like with these new shows, they're just missing opportunity. I'm sorry, with these reboots, they're missing opportunity to do something completely original. Like, this could have been a show just about some other witches. I mean, these aren't the only stories. So I totally agree with that. All right, so we're going to head to our next ad break. And after our ad break, we're going to come back and we're going to discuss my favorite slasher movies after this quick commercial break. Hello. Oh, costume change. Oh, yes. All right.
Yes.
All right. Yes. Dope. I like it. I love it. All right. It's time for my favorite part of this show. We're about to talk about some slasher films. Woo! Okay. So I'll warn you about my list. There's some on the list that are part of a series. And instead of picking that, I put the first one in the series. And I'm encompassing all, but we'll discuss that more at length. All right. So the way we're going to do this versus style. So I'm going to say my favorite. We're going to start from 10, and then we're going to go to 1. I'm going to say my list, and then the other panelists will say theirs for that number. And then we're going to debate. And y'all at home get to vote. That's why I really need y'all. At least one person got to vote, okay? Because otherwise, mine is going to win, period. All right. So let's start off nice and easy with number 10. My number 10 for best slasher film, The Strangers. The Strangers did some shit to my spirit. I didn't like it, but I loved every minute of it. I hate those movies where like the preview is like, oh, it's just me and some people trying to kill me for half an hour. I'm like, that's not going to be scary. Like, I'm just going to be asking, why are you doing that dumb shit the whole time? Nah, bro. I was terrified the whole time of that movie. And then that point at the end where they're like all like suffering and she goes, why are you doing this to us? And then they just go, because you were home. Oh my God. Like usually there's this big backstory and the killer, but they're like, bruh, we went out looking to murder some people and y'all answered the fucking door. Who hasn't seen The Strangers? Oh, okay. So the movie starts. I don't know how it starts, but this family's at home or they're in a trailer or something. They're at home, right? Or they're on vacation, something like that. I'm sorry. It's been a minute since I've seen it. But I remember this part. This girl walks up to the door, rings the door, And they open the door, and her face is in shadow. You can't see her face. And she goes, "Hey, is Tamara home?" And they go, "No." And she goes, "Okay," and runs away. And then they just see her and a dude and like a little smaller person just standing up the street, staring at the house. Yes.
I can't.
Yes. So that's my number 10. Chris, what do you have?
My number 10 is Get Out.
That's not a slasher
I
film.
think that Get Out was. It's not.
Is that a slasher film?
What constitutes as a slasher film?
I feel like a slasher film is where there's like a person or persons trying to kill a group of people with a knife.
Oh, see,
or
now you're
anything
getting very
easily
specific about, like, I find anything
Well, it's
with like
specifically
blood
the
and
group.
gore slasher.
No, it's specific. Like, okay, all right. I need some help at home. People at home, is Get Out a slasher film? Yes or no?
I wouldn't say Get Out is. I would say Us is more of a slasher film than Get Out
Us is more of a slasher film than
See,
Get Out.
and I only saw the last part of that. I was gonna say that one, but I only saw the last half of it, and so I didn't see even the first. But like the last half of that shit was fucking crazy. Sorry for my language.
The reason we
But
say
the
that
last
that
part
Get
of
Out
Us was really
versus-
crazy.
Sorry, the reason we say that Get Out is not one is because they're only after one dude.
That's more of a psychological thriller.
Yeah, if they were after a group of, which they kind of are, you could argue that, but they already got those people, and in the movie's just about that one dude. But I'll give you Get Out. Okay, fine, we'll go with that. Julian, what's your number 10?
Okay, so here's the thing. I don't really watch slashers too much, so I kind of thought like horror and all those were kind of lumped together, but I guess they're not slashers. So now my numbers are also not very. They're also. Oh man, I just lost my list, guys. Hold on 1 second.
So like,
Thank you,
I would
Rakia.
have to say like, because I've been saying this for like this past several like episodes of things that I've been on. I've been saying on Talking Out, Geek It Out. Like I'm a scaredy cat, and like I can't I can't watch it. But I will say that like Us was like the first slasher film you could say that I went to go see on purpose in theaters. So I felt proud of myself for that because I was scared. I was scared shitless after that. So
before we dig down through this list of things, how many did anybody do the homework? I sent everybody a copy of my list.
I know. I got like 5 in my head right now. 5
Okay,
in my
cool.
head.
How many do you have? Chris, you should be good to go because you're a horror movie fan like me.
I've got like 11.
Okay, bet. Let's do this thing, Chris. Let's do this. Let's do it. All right. Since Julian's gone. All right. Do you have a number 10, Rakia?
I got like my top. I got like top 5.
Okay, so we're gonna do top 10. So
Okay.
right now it is The Strangers versus Us. We need some people at home. There's 5 people watching. The Strangers versus Us. Throw that up there. The Strangers versus Us. Let's get a poll, a tally from at home. Which is the better slasher film? Now, I feel like The Strangers is better than Us just because I feel like The Strangers was easier to understand. Sometimes in slasher films, when you do too much with like the premise of why and how, it then loses its fear factor because it's like, could this really happen?
Yeah.
So anybody at home, come on at home. I know y'all watching. All y'all gotta do.
So can we give like a non-spoiler of Us? Because I've technically never seen that one.
Okay. I don't know if you can really give that one away
without spoiling it.
I can't.
Wasn't that one by like Jordan Peele or something?
Yeah.
Okay. I know
Yeah,
what I'm talking
it seems like from what I saw in the last half, like everybody kind of has like a evil, scary version of themselves that's trying to kill
like a
them in this big house.
Everyone has a doppelganger, but how those doppelgangers are
Right.
made is
the crazy part.
The crazy part.
Don't tell me that part. I don't want to know.
No, we don't need to know. Okay, that's enough. That's
fine.
enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So no one is voting at home.
I heard that Us is pretty good, but Strangers actually, like as you named that number 10, that one is actually pretty higher up on
So
my list.
since no one at home is voting, we'll just vote in this group.
Okay.
I go for The Strangers.
I also
I would have to say, I would say Us.
Ugh.
Julian goes.
I've only seen the last half of Us, but since I haven't seen The Strangers, I'm gonna say Us.
Damn, and we're deadlocked. Okay, so that'll have to stay. That'll have to stay how it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Moving on.
Oh, somebody voted.
We got Us. We got Us in the comment. Boom. Damn. I was so excited that we got the comment. I didn't realize that it was for the other movie.
Ain't that your family though?
That is my family. Thank you.
It'd be your own
I
blood.
knew they were gonna pick because, and this is crazy. The family that's messaging is the one who got me hip to slasher films. For real. This is my whole slasher film history. And The Strangers, you pick Us? Man, go on somewhere.
Look,
All right.
Thanksgiving's gonna be real awkward.
Right, for real. All right, so number 9. My number 9 is Happy Death Day.
God.
Happy Death Day is my number 9. Who doesn't know what that movie is?
I told you I don't watch slasher films.
Okay, Happy Death Day. The premise of it is this girl who's like a complete and utter asshole. She's mean as shit. She's mean as fuck. And it's her birthday. So she wakes up and she's like, it's my birthday today. And I'm hungry, blah, 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 blah. And then by the end of the night, she gets murdered by this dude. And as soon as he kills her, she wakes up and it's the next day again. So it's basically Groundhog Day. And the day keeps starting over until she figures out who's killing her.
Oh, God.
And first of all, what I like about a really good slasher film makes you have to guess who the killer is, for one. You don't know who the killer is. Everybody's a suspect. Everybody has plenty of reason to kill this girl. Now, somebody in the comments said it's not scary enough. I agree and disagree because it was very woke. The movie was very woke. It was about, you saw this character become a better person because of the stuff she was going through, because she didn't want to die and she started to treat people better. So basically, don't be a bully, kind of a message in there. And so it was kind of hopeful in the middle. But to me, I can't say it's a good slasher movie because it was creative. In a time where slasher films aren't really out, it came out, it did well. It did well enough for a sequel. And to me, I feel like it was scary in parts. All right. So what do you have for number 9, Chris?
My number 9 is actually one that's on your list. So I'm going to move to another one that I have because I had a couple extras. So 13 Ghosts was my number 9.
Oh, that's a ghost one. It's not a slasher. You're just going straight horror.
Look, that's a group of people that get murdered. Okay?
But the people are trying to murder them. They're dead. They're ghosts. 13
They're
ghosts.
slashing people to death, and it's a group.
The bride. What's her name?
The main
princess. The princess, the girl who's naked and wet with the knife.
Yeah.
I'll give it to you, but I'm telling you, that's a ghost story.
Look, the main bad guy is alive. I mean, he may not have slashed. I mean, I think he might have killed somebody.
You're right.
But like,
you're right.
The main
there
bad
is a
guy
male
is alive.
villain. You're right. I'll give it to you. Okay, cool. 13 ghosts. All right, Julian.
Okay, well, mine isn't going to be very good then. My number 9 is
Signs.
Okay, do you know what it was? Okay, there is a slasher.
Girl,
they cut off someone's hand. They cut off someone's hand.
He said, Signs. I thought you were about to say Signs.
It was
it was
really low on my list. It was on my list because when it first came out or whatever, I was a kid. I remember going to go see it like in theater and like
isn't that a paranormal movie?
Yeah, it's like Aliens technically supposed to be.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. Anyway, it was scary.
Fine.
It was scary at the time, so it like made my list. But
Fine.
yeah, see, I have like horror and stuff. I don't have necessarily only slasher films. I don't watch.
Okay, that's fine. We're gonna trudge through this episode Anyway, Rakia, what's your number 9?
Okay, I'll throw in like Hostel.
Okay. Even though that's more like torture porn, but I'll give it to you. Yeah, that is like the definitive torture porn movie.
Yeah, I don't know how I sat through that. I don't know how I sat through that.
I didn't. I said, it was like the first scene when they got into the hostel house and something. I think they were peeling off toenails or something. I said goodbye. I was done.
No, I watched that one, and I don't like a lot of slasher films. I do. I've watched a lot, but I haven't like really just dived into the whole world of it. But I watched Hostel now.
Really?
Yeah.
What did it for you?
I don't know. It wasn't as like scary. It was very like plausible in a like real kind of way, and like it made me mad more than I think. Like, you know, I was scared. I was like, oh, these assholes! Like, what?
Right. I can see
and
that.
I don't know, because you know how I love me some true crime shit and stuff. So like,
you do.
That was just like me getting to witness. Like, all right, how we gonna make this case? Like,
Right.
How we gonna bring these guys to justice?
Okay, so here's the vote. It's the only sensible choice, which is mine, but we'll vote anyway. Happy Death Day versus Hostel versus Signs.
And 13 Ghosts.
13 Ghosts. Now the vote is for slasher film, okay? Slasher. So let's hear what people at home have to say. While we're waiting for the votes to come in, I'm gonna go ahead and say you all are the worst at picking slasher films.
Look,
out
I
of
warned
anybody
you.
I've ever met.
I told
These are the
You
bottom
did.
of my list.
You did
Okay.
warn me.
These are the bottom of my
We
list.
we should have did top 3.
Slashers.
The top ones got
We
a little
should
bit
have did
more
top 5.
Look,
like bottom ones were like the extra horror movies that I had to throw in there because I don't watch too many slashers.
I literally had I got honorable mentions and shit.
right. Look, I even tried to like prepare myself for this episode and watch some. Like I got through one. And like, but like I was looking on someone said Hostel.
Hostel. Yo, I'm feeling very I'm feeling very targeted right now. I'm the only one that prepared for this episode. Okay, let's be clear.
Look, okay, but like they have a bunch of slashes on Hulu right now for like their Huluine, and I'm like just looking at the titles and like the little cover frames. I can't even do it. Like not even daytime. Like
we got Hostel and 13 Ghosts. All right, group. Between the 4 of us, we got to pick between these 2. So it's a tiebreaker between Hostel and 13 Ghosts. What do you say, Chris?
Even though I picked 13 Ghosts, I would probably go with Hostel. I think that's more along the lines of maybe what you're looking for is slasher.
Yeah.
All right, Julian.
Yeah, if you're looking for slasher, Hostel for sure. That one's
Rakia.
Hostel.
Well, I'm not even gonna vote. I'm not even gonna vote. It's already majority. So y'all don't get the pleasure.
Now we know how Hillary felt. I won't even vote for her. She's all
if that wasn't a read,
we just went Politica.
If that wasn't a read, okay. All right, next one. Number 8. My number 8. Now, my number 8 is kind of. Bear with me. I picked this one because it was a mega event, the first of its kind. It had a high death count. It actually was scary, and it also, in a way, revitalized the slasher genre for the time it was in. And honestly, I just love this movie. I really love this movie. Everything about it. Freddy versus Jason.
That was a big thing.
Yeah. Freddy versus Jason did well at the box office. It didn't smash records, but it did well at the box office. It was cool to see both of them together. The only criticism I had was that Freddy didn't kill enough people. Jason actually watched a kill count, of them. Jason killed so many. I didn't even realize how many people he killed in that movie. He killed like 20, 30 some people. Because there's this scene where he's in a group of people and he's just like, people are running around scared and he's just slicing them one after the other. So Freddy versus Jason is my number 8. Rakia?
I'll go with that. Like I never saw it. But
No. You don't get to piggyback on mine.
No.
After you just hostile me, so you need to find one online. You need to Google one just like you Google hostile.
I did not Google. I actually saw that one. Thank you very much. Watch your mouth. I was agreeing with you because I remember the hype for that one.
Okay.
I remember the hype for that one. So
and Kelly Rowland. Let's be clear. I was so mad when what happened to her happened. I was mad at them. I'm like, yo, bro, that whole scene was bullshit. The whole scene, because I'm asking myself, yo, she's not gonna do that. Nobody would do that in that situation. I'm gonna sacrifice me for my friend, kind of, sort of. I just don't believe she was gonna do that.
Hell no, I ain't doing that.
Yeah, really. I mean, I love my friends, and I wouldn't sacrifice in that moment. I would make sure we both got out.
Right.
Anyway.
Okay. I'll throw one in there. Child's Play.
Oh, that's a really good one. Fuck you, Rakia. That should be higher on the list. That should be higher on the list. And if you did the homework, you would see.
I see where you have. Okay.
Fine. Child's Play.
Okay.
Which one?
The first one.
Did you see that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the one I saw.
All right, fine. Julian?
Okay, so let's go with The Haunting. That was slashering. People got slashed. People got cut in half.
What universe am I in right now? Wait. He went from no answer to Signs to The Haunting. You think The Haunting is a slasher movie?
No, it's definitely not. It's about a ghost. Okay, fine. Because that's my point. I kind of went like more horror and stuff. I do have slasher ones, but they're like at the top of the list. We're at like number 8.
You couldn't come up with 10 slasher movies?
I sure as hell couldn't.
There we have it. See, exactly, and more importantly, like 10 slasher films that aren't like givens. Because I mean, yes, I could come up with 10 slasher films. Here, fine, Nightmare on Elm Street, but it's like, war, hello. Like,
that's why I sent y'all my list ahead of time so that we wouldn't do what y'all are doing right now.
Look,
we are so unprepared for this battle. Y'all did not Brandy and Monica it. Brandy had a journal. She was well prepared for the versus battle. Monica had a whole DJ. Monica brought her newest single. Y'all are
Teddy Riley
all over the place. Yeah, y'all are Teddy Riley. Chris?
Okay, look, mine is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Thank you. It's a slasher film.
That is a slasher film, and it almost made my list.
That is on my list.
It wasn't on your list.
The only reason it didn't make my list, let me be honest, is because I've only seen the first half of the reboot with Jessica Biel, and I didn't feel like I knew it's a given, but I didn't feel comfortable putting it on if I hadn't seen it.
It was good.
Well, that's the reason that I like it, is because of what you said. It revitalized, like it kind of like it rebooted, and it was a box office hit. It was like, I mean, it was big. I went and saw it in the theater, and like I said, I don't go to the theater to watch slasher movies. I watch them at home or whatever. But
right.
I went and saw it in the theater. I was scared shitless in the theater. It was scary, and I just remember leaving like, can't sleep.
Let me tell you the reason why I only saw the first half of it is because I was watching it up until like shit started. Like they found the girl, and then shit started happening, and I was like 13. I said, I can't do this shit. I can't do this shit.
It was too real.
I literally have never sat down to watch that movie again. Like in my head, I'm like, no, that's childhood scary. Don't fuck with that one.
No, can't do it.
All right, so here's the vote. We have Freddy versus Jason. This is actually the best round so far. Child's Play, The Haunting, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre for number 8. Now, remember, some of these show up again later in the list. So this is y'all's number 8. Everybody voting at home, you're voting on Freddy versus Jason, Child's Play, The Haunting, or Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's hear which one y'all think is the number 8. while we're waiting for our voting results, let's discuss a little bit more about our number 8. What do we think? What do we think we should win out of these 4 now that we have everybody's list?
At the 4, Texas Chainsaw, I'm gonna go with.
That's what you would pick?
That one's actually really high on my list, which is why I'm like,
so why would you put it at number 8?
I didn't put it in. I didn't suggest it for number 8. Mine is the hot take, remember?
I'm saying if y'all had to pick one right now for number 8 out of these 4, which would it be?
Okay. Oh, then Child's Play for sure. Child's Play.
Child's Play.
I put it at the end somewhere, just because it's classic, it's good, but it's not like I haven't seen Freddy versus Jason, which is why.
Okay.
Child's Play down.
Child's Play to
I
me,
haven't either. But
Child's Play to me
Play
is untouchable. Like, period.
Like I still like get the shivers at a redheaded child or
Child's Play. The only reason I wouldn't vote Child's Play on this one is because, like I said, I think, or like Dureyea said, I think it needs to be higher on the list. But
me too.
We've
got
I
2
think
votes.
the same could be said about Texas.
Okay, we've got 2 votes in. Either I'm not getting some people's votes, or because I see y'all are watching, but I'm not only getting 2 votes every time. But it's okay. So the 2 votes we got were Freddy versus Jason and Child's Play. So we're voting between those 2, and it's going to come down to the 4 of us to be the tiebreaker. All right, out of those 2, which do we think should hit our number 8?
I would pick Freddy versus Jason. I think Child's Play should go higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Julian?
In the spirit of making Child's Play higher, I do Freddy versus Jason for 8 for this slot, and Child's Play later.
Chris?
I probably, like I said before, think it should go higher. So I would vote Freddy versus Jason, even though I haven't seen it. I'm sure it is great, and so I trust your taste.
Okay, I'm gonna say Freddy versus Jason as well. Apparently, there were 2 votes, and the other vote was for Texas Chainsaw Massacre to go right here. But we already voted, so mine wins.
Yeah.
Mine. All right, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I got one. One of my choices survived the freaking list. All right, number 7. My number 7 is Nightmare on Elm Street. Ooh-wee. Nightmare on Elm Street was the first scary movie I ever saw, thanks to my cousin Terry. Oh my God. I was scared shitless, period. Like, I was scared. Like, the worst thing about that is, like, what do you do at the end of every day? You go to sleep. And staying awake only makes you sleepier. Like, there's no way to escape. Like, the dude got sucked into his bed and then spit back out. The scene that got me the most was the scene with the girl getting thrown around in the walls and stuff. Do y'all remember that scene? Who's seen Nightmare on Elm Street? That's on this panel.
I've seen it, but I don't remember that part particularly.
I'm telling you, Dureyea, like this stuff, like I thinking about it right now, like it makes me like.
I'm about to cancel this whole podcast. This is the last episode. I can't fuck with y'all no more.
Look,
oh man, y'all haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street?
No, so that one was so old. Like when I
old
scary movies that are, I know. Look, the only scary movies that are old that I got to watch as a kid were the ones that I stuck around and watched, and that one was never on. Like I got to see like a few here and there, but then by the time I was a teenager, like I didn't want to watch A Nightmare on Elm Street. I wanted to go to the theater and watch like scary stuff. So like, I just never, I never did it.
I agree.
It's
like I've seen them, but I don't remember them either. It was also very long ago, you know. I haven't watched them in like adulthood. Some of them, especially because it's not my genre, you know. It's not.
Don't hate us, Dureyea.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate. It's not. I don't hate y'all. I'm actually just.
I'm just sad.
I don't understand life anymore. That there's human beings that consider themselves geeks that have not seen Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, what planet are you on?
Marlo, don't shame us, God.
I'm shaming. I will Nightmare on Elm Street shame you. How dare you claim the mantle of geek and not have seen Nightmare on Elm Street?
Because I don't want to have nightmares, and I can't do it.
12 demerits apeace. I'm just playing.
10 points from Gryffindor.
There you go.
I am actually surprised, but I'm not gonna beat y'all up too much. All right, Chris. What's your number?
Oh, I get to speak. Okay, fine. I'll tell you what my number 7 is. My number 7 was Wrong Turn. And you're gonna hate that.
That's a good one. I think mine is better.
Wait, you like that one?
Wrong Turn scared the shit out of me. Yeah.
What? I like
especially the one.
Really different reasons.
No, especially the one who was like screaming and laughing. That scared me.
Yes.
That scared me.
No, I thought it was hilarious. That movie is like the one slasher movie that I can watch and laugh. Like I'm just like laughing. So because it's bad. Like I mean, it's not a great movie, but like it is kind of scary. And then those like hillbilly characters are so hysterical to me. I love that movie. I don't know why. I love it.
It's funny. I have a little quick story. So the first time I saw that movie, I think I was by myself, or I was with a friend of mine, and I was so scary when I saw it. The next time I watched it, I was with 2 other people because I was telling them how scary it was. They didn't think it was scary at all. They thought it was hilarious. And watching it with them made it less scary for me because they then made it a joke the guy liked. But I thought that was so scary. All right. So Wrong Turn and Nightmare on Elm Street. What you got, Julian?
Okay, I've got A Vampire in Brooklyn.
As a slasher film, bro, what are you doing?
Okay.
As a slasher film, bro.
I'm gonna substitute it out. Devil's Rejects. I'm gonna take the next one down.
Okay, Devil's Rejects.
The next one down is Devil's Rejects.
All right, cool.
Okay.
They're
on there. They're just in the
vampires don't need knives, bro.
I mean, they have knives.
They don't need knives.
They've built in ones.
They don't need weapons.
Okay. So Devil's Rejects. That one's pretty scary. That one. Well, it was like scary for me at the time. At least it was like freaky, you know.
I haven't seen it, but I heard it's really scary.
Yeah, they just do like this killing spree across like this country, like this country town. It's like it's kind of scary, but you know. All
right, Rakia.
Look, I'm just gonna throw one out there. Halloween.
Halloween should be much higher on the list, but
okay.
No. You said it, so we'll do it.
Take it.
We're gonna keep going.
Wait. Hold on. So this is one I didn't realize was considered a slasher film, but so it's a play turned into a movie. Sweeney Todd.
No, that is slasher.
I guess it's slasher. I guess it's.
But it makes sense because it's like a Broadway slasher. If you think about it,
I'll accept it. We'll accept it. All right. So that's the 4. Nightmare on Elm Street. Chris, remind me of yours.
Wrong Turn.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Wrong Turn. Devil's Rejects and Sweeney Todd. Let's get some votes from home. Somebody actually voted for Interview with the Vampire. That's not a slasher film.
That wasn't even the thing.
Right. First of all, that wasn't even on the list. Second of all, that's not a slasher film. And to me, that was one of the more less scary vampire movies. I actually used to be scared of Blade, for real. Not of him, but that movie.
Oh.
Yeah, that movie.
Yeah, that was scary to me.
It really.
Yeah, I agree. There was a few parts that were pretty scary.
All right. Let's hear some votes from at home while we're waiting for these votes to come in.
What do we think?
Ooh.
What do we think?
I actually like Sweeney Todd on there.
Goodbye. Out of this one, even though my pick was Nightmare on Elm Street, I'm gonna stick with my pick. Mine would be either that or Elm Street, or Wrong Turn.
Okay.
I've never seen Wrong Turn, so I would do Devil's Rejects.
We got 1 vote for Devil's Rejects. Remember, we said the audience chooses, so if this is the only vote we get, so if I need another vote for Devil's Rejects or vote for something else to make a tie.
Do it. Vote for me. Vote for me.
Vote for me.
No Trump 2020. Vote for Julian.
If you haven't seen Wrong Turn,
I'm not a
crook. Wrong Turn. You want to laugh at a horror film? Go ahead.
Wrong Turn.
Laugh.
It kind of did traumatize me. All right, going once. Oh, we got another vote for Elm Street. Hey, yes. That's what I'm talking about, fam. All right, so it's Elm Street versus Wrong Turn. Tiebreaker, Chris. No, I'm sorry. Elm Street versus Devil's Reject. Yeah. Chris, which one? You pick one of the 2.
I'm gonna say Elm Street because it's a classic.
Elm Street. Boom. Julian.
Devil's Rejects.
Rukia.
I'll go with Elm Street.
Yes. In your
Ooh.
face, Julian. In your face. And I picked Elm Street too. All right, so that's my number 8 and my number 7 have secured themselves a spot. All right, number 6.
Whatever.
My number 6 is specifically. Somebody in the comments said Elm Street should be closer to the top. Not on my episode.
Thank you.
Maybe on your episode.
It should be closer to the top, and
My
Devil's Rejects
episode.
should have taken
That's
number
where it
7.
All right, number 6 is
Someone's here with me.
specifically. Now, I would say the whole series of them, but of the whole series, I'm going to say Child's Play 2. The reason I say specifically number 2, did Child's Play? Did we end up?
Which
picking
one
that
is 2?
Wait. Did we end up picking Child's Play earlier?
No, we said
We
that
did
it's
not.
higher.
We did.
I put Child's Play 2. Child's Play 2 is the one where Andy is in his foster home. And the reason that was scared me is because that was the first one I saw, for one. For two, when I saw Chucky kill the stepdad, played by John Ritter, rest in peace.
Right.
It was John Ritter, correct?
I think so.
It was John Ritter, I believe. Let me check that real quick before I
Probably.
say something wrong.
Wait, which
But-
is the one? Is Bride of Chucky? Is that one?
Bride of Chucky was like the fourth one.
Yeah.
Fourth one, okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bride
it
of,
was
it was
way
it
later.
was after it was Child's Play 3, where Andy was like a teenager. Then it was Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky.
With Jennifer Tilly.
It was Bride
I
of
was gonna
Chucky.
say, 'cause Jennifer
There's
Tilly
7 of them
was-
all together. 1, 2, 3, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky. And I've seen them all. Cult of Chucky is actually really scary. That's what I love about this series, is that they come out. I'm not really scared because I'm an adult, but I bet if you showed it to like some younger people, they'd be scared shitless. Yeah, so Child's Play 2 is mine. Chris, your number 6.
I'm gonna go with Child's Play. Well, I mean Child's Play 2. Fine. We'll go. That was on my list, so I'm gonna agree with Dureyea.
Boom. So we can just not even vote no more. Mine wins.
I mean, sure.
I'll just playing.
I could listen to that
Julian, what's your number 6?
Silence of the Lambs.
That is a psychological
now.
thriller.
He's gonna piss him off the
What is
entire
happening?
episode.
What is happening?
He's gonna be mad at you the entire episode.
What is going on? And the bad part about it is you're not drunk.
I
You
don't
had
know.
time. You had time to plan.
I
So
don't know any slashers. Maybe that's what it is. I think I've
You didn't, like, go
I
and
think I've just
Google?
never really seen any slashers except for like maybe Texas Chainsaw. But am I gonna answer that for everyone? No.
I mean, I guess you could, but all right, Rakia.
Final Destination.
That's a slasher.
That's not a slasher film either.
Well, I'm googling it. It says it's one of the 25 essential slasher movies.
Wait,
so-
yeah, let me Google slashers and then
Good.
maybe I'll have actually a better list for you.
Okay,
I think
fine.
we're gonna. Okay, fine. That's fine. We'll pick between those two. We'll pick between Child's Play and Final Destination for
Fine.
number 6.
Thank you.
Child's Play and Final Destination. If anybody wants to vote at home between those two slasher films, I mean, I guess I could see if you consider Death as a slasher, sure.
It was
Sure.
a lot of death. It was
Sure.
lots
I mean,
of dying.
I thought about putting it on the list because it feels like a slasher.
It was
film.
like Death was kind of a character
yeah,
in the
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Like in
You
all
could
of
argue
the
that.
Let's analyze.
It definitely, I will say this, it has the feeling of a slasher film. A group of people, everybody different. There's always like a bitchy character, a peaceful character. There's always like the variety of the group. The death is they have chase scenes, which aren't always chases because sometimes the characters don't even know. Once again, my family sides with y'all.
I have seen like maybe 5 of these movies.
Okay, so the audience has, this is the first time the viewers have both picked the same movie. So I guess Final Destination takes the number 6 slot. And somebody says
Wow.
Chucky deserves spot 5.
That's
Well, you better hope somebody put him on the list because I think that's the last time Chucky's on anybody's list. So you might have just lost your chance to put Chucky.
Oh,
on
don't
that
worry,
list.
I'll put Chucky on my list because my list sucks.
All right, so number 5. Now this is an actual. You cannot argue that this is one of the quintessential slasher films because it has all of the elements of an actual slasher film, and I'm counting this one and its sequel, not all of the other sequels, just the second one, because them other ones don't count. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Was Brandy in the
I
second
love
one?
that.
Brandy was
movie.
in the second one. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, to me, are two of the best quintessential slasher films, because they had the group of characters being hunted by a killer who was masked, who they were trying to find out his identity the whole time. And there was like a twist when they actually found out who he was. It wasn't who they thought it was. So it had all a good slasher film has certain elements. It has a beautiful lead girl, a love interest, a best friend, a quirky group that surrounds them. One of them has to be an asshole. They're generally, the asshole is male. And then the killer has to be usually alive and using any means like of weaponry to kill these people. And this happens, and there has to be a twist. The killer being revealed, there has to be some sort of twist. The answer was sitting in your face the whole time and you just didn't get it. So that's why I picked for the top 5. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Chris?
I actually have that on my list, but it was higher. It was closer to the top. Mine was actually something that's on your list, but it's also higher. Mine was Urban Legend.
You took my number? Oh, I wanted to be the one who brought that up in the conversation. See, that's not fair. Y'all didn't give me no heads up, man. Urban Legend is literally,
I
to me,
feel like
one of. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I feel like, like I loved I Know What You Did Last Summer a little bit more than Urban Legend, but I think both. And so if one of them doesn't make it, I want to make sure that I mention Urban Legend now, because if I mention it
to be there,
later, right.
That
was my thought.
Okay.
So Urban Legend for me. That was freaking What's Her Tooth with that hair. Oh my gosh, that crazy
and she's so
hair.
fine. Hey, there are certain women out there
so fine
that are just, man. Oh my God. It makes my bisexual side come out a little bit. I see Rebecca Gayheart. Rebecca Gayheart.
Yeah, Rebecca Gayheart.
Yes.
I get a little tingly. You know,
mercy.
I love Rebecca Gayheart. And Tara Reid was in there too. Her death scene. Yeah. Let's talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. All right, Julia.
I'm gonna give, because I have a terrible list. I'm gonna give Penny Dreadful. I'm mad this is on here. No, I lied. Disturbia. Okay, Disturbia.
That's actually a slasher film. Okay. Penny Dreadful is not a slasher film.
It's on here. I was like, oh no.
I don't care what Google say. Geeking Out. Woe Nelly Media Productions.
All right, Google.
Yeah,
and around here, we don't do Penny Dreadful on a slasher.
Pulling rank.
All right. Well, Disturbia I'm gonna go with, which isn't bad. That one was pretty.
Actually caught me off guard.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was a nice twist. I didn't find that's my thing. That's why I don't really do like too many like slashers and stuff. They find them a little too predictable, so I don't really watch them too often. But like Disturbia was like that, but it was good. It was good. It was a nice twist in the end. It actually got me. I was on the edge of my seat. It was one of those.
What I liked about Disturbia was that it was exactly what he was saying. Like, I kept expecting it to not be what he thought it was. Like, there to be some logical explanation for why this neighbor was acting like this. Right. But then to find out, like, no, he's actually killing bitches and hiding them in the freezer. I was like,
oh, actually, he's a killer.
I was like, but then it makes you question, like, what would you do? And it meant, like, if I found out one of my neighbors was a serial killer, I would just move.
By the time he found out, it might be too late.
His victims were all women, but now that's where he had to step in because his mom was next on the list. You can't fuck with moms, but other than that, I'll be like, oh, I don't want nothing to do with none of this shit. I got to go.
I would move and then maybe call an anonymous tip in. After I have a safe distance.
Okay, so I'm a serial killer and a guy moves out of my neighborhood and then the police get an anonymous tip, but I'm not smart enough to put that together. Yeah, right.
Nope.
Well, sometimes.
If he was smart enough to if he was smart enough to be getting away with all these murders anyway, which actually brings up another question. If this dude was smart enough to be getting away with this all along. You're telling me just this little bored ass teenager?
It's the craziest. That's the one I was just watching that the other day. Someone just said that.
The crazy.
Is the craziest is a slasher?
I don't
Is
know.
it?
I have to look it
What
up.
was
Rakia, what's your
That one was
number
good.
5?
I don't have one.
Crazy. I just saw it the other day. Like again, it's been a while since I've seen
Let's
it.
go. Let's go with y'all's 3. So we'll go with I Know What You Did Last Summer 1 and 2, Urban Legends and versus Disturbia. Do that.
So you don't have one?
I don't have one.
Okay. It's all right.
Don't hate me.
Let's go with that for now. I'm definitely using the craziest for the next one.
So these are the 3 people at home, lovely viewers who have been keeping us persistent, and so keeping us moving forward. We have I Know What You Did Last Summer versus Urban Legend versus Disturbia. These are actually really good. These are tough to choose between. If I had to pick one, I don't know. Disturbia would go first, but then between these other 2, I would have a hard time.
I do like Urban Legends, to be honest.
You can't vote. Okay, hold on. Somebody in the comments is just screaming out every scary movie that they can think of. We're gonna get to some of these. I see you in the car. See what's going on. We're gonna get now.
Who should have been our 5th panelist today?
I think that's my cousin. I know I should have called her, to be our 5th panelist. But that's my cousin and her husband, and I guess they just tag team in the comments right now.
That would have been real entertaining, to be honest with you.
Okay, we have 1 vote for Disturbia, which I feel like is unfair because this person has been voting for everything Julian said all freaking night. Even though Julian been talking about some ghost stories.
Because they know exactly, they have good taste.
I feel betrayed.
You should feel betrayed.
I feel betrayed.
You should. Because as I should. My family needs to vote for anything I say, period. And your family needs to vote for anything you say, period. And anything other than that is just not cool. Look,
it's unacceptable. Oh no.
Okay, so right now we only have 1 vote for Disturbia. We're looking for Disturbia and Urban Legend. So I Know What You Did Last Summer just going off the list. All right.
Maybe they need to go higher.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see if it makes it. All right. So we're choosing between Disturbia and Urban Legend. The 4 of us. All right.
I guess I'll go with the Urban Legend.
Okay. Julian.
I'm going Urban Legend.
I'm going Urban Legend too. Julian, in your face, bruh.
I'm actually gonna go with Urban Legend. So don't worry.
No.
Guess what? I'm also going for Urban Legend.
I was gonna do that anyway. Okay, so the next one is number 4.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't gonna beat my number 4.
Okay.
Unless y'all got it higher on the list. My number 4, Halloween. Period.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah.
Winner, chicken dinner. Halloween. Fight me.
No, I'm good. I got it.
Halloween. So we'll talk about it. This is why I like Halloween as a slasher movie. What's interesting about the series, Halloween was supposed to be a series of stories about evil that was like so twisted and intoxicating that it just totally consumed. So the first Halloween was about Michael Myers and him trying to kill his sister. And then the second one was about the continuation of the first one. Now, the third Halloween was not at all about Michael Myers. It was about this whole other thing where it was kind of like that episode of Buffy where everybody put masks on and became what they dressed up as. It was kind of like that.
That Halloween.
But when Halloween 3 didn't do as well in the box offices, they went back to just doing Michael Myers films and ended up making like 7 altogether. So what I love about it is that idea that Michael Myers is just from birth, just so deranged that one day he just was like, I'm about to put on this mask and never look back. You know what I'm saying? Because like Michael, he doesn't eat, yet he's jacked. But he doesn't eat. He that's all he does is wake up and look for Lori every day. and it's like they put him in jail and he's like, cool, I can do a bit, but when I get out, I'm going to find my sister. Period. You know what I'm saying? He's so determined. He's just the quintessential, you cannot defeat Michael Myers. He's everything. Now I want to kind of do a versus, but we don't. Does anyone have a number 4 other than me?
No.
If you have a number 4, it just say your number 4. I know you got one, Chris.
I don't have any top Halloween.
Chris,
My number 4 was actually, you would hate it because
Just
it's
say
not
it.
technically a slasher, though it has the slasher vibe.
okay.
But my number 4 was Cabin Fever. I love
I've never
Cabin
seen
Fever.
Cabin Fever. I've never
I
seen
like
it.
Cabin Fever.
I've never seen it.
It's like they all
Okay,
go to
well, it's not a slasher, so there's not a person going around killing everybody. It's more of like a flesh-eating virus, but everyone kind of turns on each other because no one wants to get it, and so the conflict becomes like like between them themselves, but it's not themselves. It's actually killing them most of the time, even though sometimes they may kill each other just so they don't have to get it.
That's cool.
It to me was a good scary slasher-esque movie, and it ranks really high on my list because I really liked it. And the bonus features of the rotten fruit, if you've ever seen the movie, then you might know what I'm talking about. But the rotten fruit is this little claymation cartoon that are in the bonus features. That's like my favorite thing ever. So I love it. Anyways, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess that was a no-brainer. Number 4 wins. No arguments, no complaints, no combating. So let's
Wait, so when's the Cabin Fever?
No, it's too late.
No.
It's too late.
Look,
You can't auction once the auctioneer says sold. You can't say nothing else. That's too late. Too late.
It's done. Halloween.
Can't do it. Yeah. All right. So my number 3 is now officially on the list. It's higher, so I'm gonna do one of my. I had what they call when you got them on the sidelines.
Honorable mentions.
I had bench riders,
Bench
riders, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm going to actually use for my number 3. I'm going to use this one out of mine because I think this is the one that will win over whatever y'all have. The Purge.
That's a slasher?
Yes,
Oh, The Purge.
it is a slasher film.
I mean, everybody's literally killing everybody. So yeah.
The Purge.
Yeah.
Beat it. I dare you. And you can't. Hey.
The Hills of Eyes.
Hills Have Eyes.
Oh, that's actually a good
Hills Have
response.
Eyes. Gotcha.
I've never seen a slasher film. Yeah, right.
I've never said I haven't seen it. I just don't watch them because they scare me too much.
But clearly you knew which ones to watch. You can't honorable mention yet because we haven't finished the list. You don't know if that's going to make the list. I'm talking to somebody in the comments for those
Thomas
people who are
Wilson,
listening.
thank you for being so interactive with us on this list.
Go ahead.
I made him. I told him he had to be. Sorry.
Thank you, Thomas. Love
So my number 3, I think, actually shows up on your list later. So sorry, but my number 3 was.
Don't say it. Because there's only one more that goes. Don't say that one because that one can only get mentioned.
No. Oh no, it's not your number 1.
Okay, then I don't
Not your
care.
number 1.
Oh no, don't say that one either.
you can't say none of them. Nope.
What you about to say? Type it in the chat. Let me see it first so I can prepare myself. Type it in the chat.
DM him.
Oh no, that's not on my list. That's not on my list. Go ahead, Gay. You good?
That's not on your list?
That's surprising.
It's on my honorable mentions, or I was at some point.
It's been brought up. It's been brought up a couple times.
And we brought it up. Say it. Go ahead. That's a good one.
Okay. Saw is my number 3.
Now this is the best round we've had so far.
Yeah.
There's only been 2 things.
Well,
The Purge, Saw, and The Hills Have Eyes. Those are
Hills
3 very good ones.
We did say The Hills Have Eyes for this one.
Julian, what's yours?
Okay, so number 4. You know, I was gonna put High Tension.
No, number 3.
Sorry.
High Tension is scary as a mug.
Still High Tension. I'm gonna put on there for my number 3.
Okay.
Because my number 2 and my number 1 have actually already been said. So number 3 is High Tension, and that one was. I thought it was scary. I mean, I think I feel like it's supposed to be more psycho thriller still technically than slasher, but whatever. It was really scary. It was really good.
The only reason I would argue that it was psycho versus slasher is because he was only trying to kill one person, but he did kill some other people along the way, right?
I don't
Like
think so.
the people she kept encountering.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
he killed people along the way, like people trying to help her.
Yeah.
But still,
there were not as many of them though. There was only like one or two, because then her best friend was like the one who really helped her throughout the whole movie.
All right, viewers, let's get votes. Votes. Number 3. It's between The Purge, The Hills Have Eyes, Saw, and High Tension. All extremely good picks. We already got a vote for Saw. These are probably. This is our toughest round. Put the list back up again. Let me see what it says.
Okay, yeah, hold on. Yeah, The Purge, The Hills of Eyes, Saw, and High Tension.
Okay, let's discuss ours, but while we're waiting for the votes to come in.
I mean,
oh, we actually have 2 votes for Saw already.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the one. That first Saw was terrifying.
Ooh.
When he closed that door at the end.
Scared.
Ooh, man. Ooh, man.
I will say.
Man, Saw has and then Saw makes everybody you feel like, oh, that would never be me in a scary movie when you watch scary movies normally. When you watch Saw though, he went after any and every.
Yeah.
If you don't know High Tension, go see that movie. It's very good. It's French, so you're gonna have to watch it in subtitles, but it's still worth it. Totally worth it. It's scary as hell.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move to number 2. Now, this to me is a quintessential. My last 2 movies I picked not necessarily for fear factor. I picked them because they're the perfect example of this genre. I'll do the list again. Killer who's hidden in secret, that's in our face the whole time, yet we have no clue who it is. There has to be a lot of chase scenes, meaning a girl generally running from the killer, trying to fight him off. It can't just be pop out of nowhere, stab you in the chest. It's like the chase scenes. You got a group of people. There's got to be an asshole or a bitch. There's all those elements. So my number 2 is Sorority Row. Yes, Sorority Row. It's one of the newer ones, and it doesn't get the appreciation it should. The kill scenes were very clever. There was one time he killed a girl with a flare gun.
Yeesh.
That was really cool. Because I want to tell you a story. The final fight was actually really intense, and it made you root for all the right characters. It definitely left on a note where they could have been a sequel, but they didn't make a sequel, and I'm actually happy that they didn't. Because then I think when you rush into sequels sometimes just for money, you end up making something that's not that good. The backstory was dope. Everyone had a reason to be the killer. So Sorority Row is awesome if you haven't seen it. That's my number 2. Chris?
Okay. My number 2, it doesn't quite fit the, person that's you don't know it's them the whole time, but it still definitely fits within the genre of a Freddy or a Jason or something like that. But
right.
And specifically for me, this is the remake part 2 of It. I actually just watched it recently. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the first part, you should watch the first part first.
Question.
The second part, yeah.
Does anyone actually get killed by Pennywise in It number 2?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Like somebody gets killed.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. And I picked that one over the original, even though I think the original is scarier to me personally, but it is less of a slash. It's way more of that kind of made for TV, psychological-ish, but also scary. But the remake, they really bring some blood and stuff into it. And so, but there's also some comedy. There's some great comedy bits in the movie. I really recommend watching both of the It movies that they redid. I really appreciated them, but that's my number 2.
And to respond to this comment that's down there, asking which Sorority Row I'm talking about the Sorority Row that just came out with Jamie Chung and her fine ass. Julian.
Okay, so for number 2, my first number 2 was taken, which was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which we had put up earlier, but I don't think it won.
If it didn't win, you can bring it back up.
Oh, I think I'm going to do Crazies though instead for
The
my
Crazies.
Yeah,
Okay.
Crazies was pretty good.
And Rakia.
I don't have one.
Cool. Between
Take
these
Texas
three.
Chainsaw.
So you got the
Okay.
Crazies. No, you
Okay.
did. You if you wanted it, you could have put it, Julian. You didn't put it.
I'm gonna
And
do
she
it for
said
the
she
next
had one.
one. I'm gonna do it for
Okay,
the
then
next
do
one
it for the
anyway.
next one then. Fine.
Okay.
All right. So the vote is between.
Oh, hold on. Wait, so let's put Child's Play the first one because people wanted it to be higher.
But I thought it already made the list.
No, you put Child's
Okay,
Play
cool.
too.
So it's Child Play versus Sorority Row versus It versus what you say, Julian?
What did I
The
say?
Crazies.
Oh, the
The Crazies.
Crazies.
I actually, out of these, I would pick. Okay, so we're waiting for votes from the people at home. Of these, I would pick Child's Play.
Look at that. Me just throwing some things in there and just, kicking ass,
So
taking names.
let's hear from the viewers. But I would actually pick Child's Play of these, even though Sorority Row. I knew y'all were gonna pick Sorority Row, so I just wanted it to be mentioned because it's great. Go watch it. I just like the kill scenes, and I like the bands. Like it was, I literally couldn't figure out who the killer was. I couldn't figure it out.
Let's see.
We got one vote for the Crazies.
Okay.
Oh, holler.
We got to vote for like it.
No, that
the
was
original
before
version.
we finished the list.
That's true.
Yeah, that's not a vote. They were
Okay.
just shouting out the
Okay.
yeah. So we need one more vote, or we're going with the Crazies. I think Thomas did vote for it when we.
I think so. It.
Oh yeah, it.
But
So
it was on the last one, no? Or is that
so
on
it
this
and
one?
Crazies. So between it and Crazies, we're gonna tie break. What do you want, Rakia?
Okay.
I guess I'll go for it.
I go for it too.
Either one sounds it's too much for me. Like I
So,
saw
Chris?
like the first like 5 minutes of that.
Julian, what's your vote?
I'm gonna go with it.
Oh, there we go. So it gets number 2,
Right.
which surprises the hell out of me. All right, number 1. If anybody knows anything about me, you already know what my number 1's gonna be. I could have picked. I'm gonna pick the first one, even though the first one's not my favorite of the series. I picked the first one because this is like forever will be the definitive slasher movie. Period. It was made. It will go down in history as one of the most epic horror franchises just because of the first 10 minutes. The first 10 minutes of a movie, you have the biggest name in the whole cast killed in the first 10 minutes. And she's killed in a horrendous way. The way that, and I remember the crazy thing about it was the first time I saw this scary movie, I didn't know what I was watching. I just sat down, I saw the dimension sign, and then I heard a phone ring. And I had no clue what I was watching. I literally just, so when she was on the phone talking, I had no clue what I was watching. No, for real, like I'm so lucky. I didn't even know I was watching a horror movie until the first 12 minutes were over. And I'm so lucky to say that I got to watch that movie before Scary Movie came out. I got to experience it the way it was meant to be experienced, like totally just out of nowhere. So Scream is absolutely the number 1 slasher film, I don't care what y'all say, that has ever been created. It actually did revitalize the horror genre because the 80s kind of killed it. And that's all I have to say.
Wasn't it created by like one of the biggest
No, this
slasher?
is Kevin Williamson, who also does Vampire Diaries stuff. I'm not sure.
But wasn't like Wes Craven?
No, Wes Craven directed it. He
Wes
directed
Craven.
it.
Okay.
Kevin Williamson, the story of him in this script is that he sold this script because he needed to pay rent. It was just like a, okay, here kind of thing.
You definitely paid some rent then.
This script ended up launching his career. He did I think it was like Dawson's Creek, motherfucking, he did a whole bunch of scary movies. Like he's done so much work, I can't even name everything.
Right.
But anything teen driven that happened in like the 90s was connected to him.
Yeah.
And I think Vampire Diaries was connected to him too.
Right? Yes. So he was the first showrunner for Vampire Diaries, particularly the first like few seasons, and then he came back into it towards the end.
And this is the movie that launched his career. That's how good it was. So, what do you have to say, Chris?
I actually would have to agree with you.
Thank you.
100%.
Thank you. I knew there was a reason I liked you, Chris.
I knew there was a reason.
No, it actually is. It's my number one on the list. So, I mean, I can't argue with you. I could throw in something that didn't make it for my list, but I don't even want to argue. I think Scream deserves the top.
Awesome. Julian.
I'm going to give it to The Strangers, which is number 1 on my list. That movie fucked with me. That movie still fucks with me.
I thought we picked The Strangers for number 10. We didn't do that?
Did it win for number 10?
No, it didn't. It didn't. I'm being an asshole. It didn't. All right, fine.
That's what I was saying. You had picked that one. I was like, oh, but that's like really hung on my list.
Like real life, whoever's listening to this podcast instead of watching it, yo, bro, he really just put The Strangers up against Scream. Like, okay, all right, like the same man who put Signs on his top 10 slasher films.
That's right. You better motherfucking believe it.
Mad at him the whole episode.
That's all I'm saying.
I was surprised he didn't say The Ring is number 1.
And that was my number 10. That was my original number 10. Stop.
Okay. And Rakia, what is yours?
I have to agree.
Yes.
Okay,
with
so
what? With who?
With Scream.
Okay.
That was me.
No.
Scream. And so, like, keep in mind, like, I just saw it for the first time, like, this weekend. So here's the thing, though, like any of those movies that came out, like, while I was a child, like, they're seared in my brain as something I do not want to watch because I'm a scaredy cat. So, like, Scream came out, like
too young for it.
Like, I think I was at least, like, 4th or 5th grade when that came out.
Yeah.
So, like, still a scaredy cat. So, and I still am. I had to watch it during the daytime. And then, like, to calm my nerves, I had to, like, cheat and like, read up on it on Wikipedia. So yes.
Can I just say something really quick? I'm so proud that everyone agrees except for Mr. Signs over there. Even the people watching are like, oh, Scream, hand down. Scream. Because to me, like, I really felt like, until very recently, I felt like people didn't like Scream. I thought that because to me, I say that, and this might be an over-exaggeration, or people say it's an over-exaggeration, but I feel like Scream is the Star Wars of horror movies. Oof. Because of the third Scream, the killer in that one, still to this day blows my mind, like, that the writers did that with the storyline. Like, what you mean, right, Rakia?
I like I told you, I looked it up on Wikipedia. Okay.
Oh. The way you don't like the way that unfolded and the way the killers always were. I was recently listening to a podcast about this specifically, and it was interesting because I never thought of it this way. The reason that set Scream apart from other slasher films is that it was about her and it wasn't about the killer. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's true. Most scary movies are about the killer. Even I Know What You Did Last Summer was about the killer. But this was all about her. Every single movie has been about her. Mm-hmm. And the way that third killer, and I'm not even going to spoil, if you are one of the unfortunate people who has never seen Scream 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then go watch them. The killer in the third one, I never expected it was him. I never expected the backstory, even though it was clearly there. It was clearly something that I think they came up with after the fact. I don't think they were planning for that from the beginning, but it felt like it was planned. You know what I'm saying? They wrote it well enough to where it felt like, damn, the hints were there all along from the first movie.
Scream 4 was also one of my honorable mentions. I liked Scream 4 a lot.
I love Scream 4. What do you mean?
I liked it a lot. Emma Roberts,
was my favorite. Right. That was my favorite final battle. Actually, no, it wasn't. My favorite final battle was Scream 2. Let's be for real. Like, Sydney whooped her ass. Bruh. My favorite actual thing about the whole series is how Sydney is a real live ninja. Period. If in the fourth one, the killer cuts up this girl, and Sydney sees it from across the street. So she leaves the house and runs into the house where the killer is. She get on the phone with the killer. It's like, hey, bruh, come see me. I'm ready for all the smoke. What you doing all this for? You know what I'm saying? Like a G. Killer pops out of nowhere. She literally knuckles up and kicks him. That motherfucker was in the air. and then hit the ground. She hit him so hard, he ran. Like he wasn't ready for that, bro. I love that. Okay, so this was a lot of fun. It's a little long for our episodes. We're running a little long. So I want to thank everyone for being here. We're not going to do our last commercial break because we're over time.
Even though we failed you.
Oh, no. I think this was a great episode because at the very least, anyone who is in a position like Rakia and Julian who don't watch slasher films, they can kind of get an idea of what they're missing out on and what they should be expecting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had, did anyone have any honorable mentions?
I did. I had Scream 4. I Saw 2, even though we got Saw on there. Saw 2 I thought was good. Like the first two were the best ones to me. One that you may not think that is a slasher, but I do, because maybe just because he doesn't target. Well, I guess he does target a group. It's just not a small group. It's just like poor. From Hell. From Hell is one of my all-time. I love. It's about Johnny the Ripper. I've seen that one. It's about Johnny the Ripper. It's really good. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's period. So I think that's the only ones that I didn't get to talk about. So that's it for me.
Rakia, Julian, do y'all have any honorable mentions?
No.
I was gonna say Silent Hill. Does that count?
I don't never
that one.
Is that like slasher?
Is it like zombies?
It's less slasher. It's kind
like
of more
underworld.
ghosty.
Like it's like, I guess it's more ghosty. Okay, fine. Right. That one, and then I was also gonna say it's also on here. No, that's it. Oh, Amityville Horror. I guess it's also ghosty, but not really because he's not like possessed by a ghost. It's like just house.
That's anything where like paranormal, supernatural stuff. Julian, you're too nerdy to be getting all these wrong.
I'm sorry.
I've never thought I would say this, but I'm really thinking about revoking your nerd card, dude.
Girl, you better
like,
stop
is that
real
serious?
quick. You better stop that real quick. You better stop that real quick.
Shots fired.
I'm about to call the Council of Nerds on your ass.
You better stop that real quick, okay? you out here talking all the wrong things.
Let me say this really quick though. I'm proud of you, Julian, for being here and trying. And even though you said some crazy shit, okay. Really quick, my honorable mentions really quick before we're gonna throw it over. Do we have a topic for our next episode yet? Have you thought of one? Or are you still debating?
Yeah, I thought of one. You shot it down.
Okay. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I was just talking shit while I was getting ready.
No, just do it. Chris.
I was talking shit. Yeah, I was talking shit. Hold on.
Our next topic.
Let me throw it to you real quick. I got to do my honorable mentions. My honorable mentions are Vacancy.
We have time.
Vacancy is similar to The Strangers. Or No Vacancy. Vacancy, yeah. That one, the end of that one is what stuck with me. Like, I don't remember, literally, I don't remember the plot. I just remember how I felt at the end of it. And that stayed with me. So the Vacancy is one. My other one is Valentine's Day with David Borean as.
Angel.
My other one is Black Christmas. I haven't seen the older one, but I saw the newer one with Michelle Trachtenberg. Good movie. Okay, so other than this, I'm going to send it over to Chris, and he's going to tell you what we're going to be doing on our next episode.
So our next episode, we're going to be diving into the Buffyverse. So our next episode, we're not going to be super specific. We're not going to do like our top 10 Buffy villains, or actually there weren't really. I mean, there were probably 10, but anyways, we're not going to do, our top romances or anything like that. We're going to do just kind of a specific Buffy episode about, the entire span of Buffy, seasons 1 through 7. What we liked, what we thought, like what we really vibed with, and how we really got into the episode. Because I really do want us to get into a more specific episode or 2 or 3 later with Buffy, but I want you guys to have an overview so we're not like just throwing a bunch of names at you that you have no idea what we're talking about. So Buffy,
we're diving into the Hell Mouth. Yay!
Yay!
Yes, that sounds fun. I'm very excited to be doing that because everyone here is a huge Buffy fan. If you're at home and you're not, don't feel like you shouldn't be motivated to not participate. Absolutely come, because we're going to be making it something that's relatable for everybody involved. So it'll be a lot of fun. As always, come with your drinks, your cups, turn up with us. Thank you all so much for being with us on this long episode. For those who are voting, thank you. For those who didn't vote but were watching, we love y'all. And feel free to comment if you would like to maybe be a fifth panelist on our rotating fifth seat. Please email us at admin@WoeNellyMedia.com. Other than that, we love you guys, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks, diving into the Buffyverse. Have a good night. I lied. Have a good night.